I was very much aware of the fact that fiat money is basically a fraud.
Okay.
And the way out was through hard asset investments, mainly gold as the most liquid one. However, this new thing comes up, it's Bitcoin, and at first it becomes a toy, and then it becomes a real asset with a value that you can trade it, and people are willing to buy and sell it. So naturally it attracted my attention, a few years ago. And then we did really well on that investment. So of course you want to come back for more, right?
Yes, exactly. Well, I mean, you said naturally, but I think there are many gold bugs, who look at Bitcoin and they don't really like it.
They hate it. It's not made for that.
Yeah.
It's like you couldn't go to a grocery store and pay with a gold coin, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. That doesn't mean it's not money. It doesn't mean it's not a store of value. It's just not used for that. I think that the number one application, it is unseizable, okay? And that's very important because we don't realize that all our fiat money, everything we have in fiat, is 100% seizable by the government.
Yeah.
People don't realize this, okay? Yeah. But that's the fact.
That's a fact. Yeah.
Your money in the bank, and we have bank, can be frozen or confiscated or taken away. And number two, it has this amazing property that you can transfer it instantaneously from one place of the world to another. It really doesn't matter if you're using it to pay for some coffee. And you could also do that with a new Lightning Network.
You said it yourself. I mean, with a silver coin, you had something tangible, something that, and that's also an argument that's usually brought against Bitcoin, And I can imagine that people in here, Mexico, coming from the informal cash economy where cash is king, how will they ever fathom this, understand that Bitcoin is still to be taken seriously, even though you cannot hold anything except for a wallet or a key
Right.
How does that work?
Well, most people have access to digital money. Like, for example, this is a super app of Banco Azteca. It's 100% digital money. You put in some cash or you transfer from a credit account and then you have your digital money and then you can go around spending your digital money. No big deal. Most people are familiar with credit cards, debit cards, and so then they have access to digital money. It's not a big deal to consider digital fiat money and then step to digital Bitcoin money. But it does require a level of education and sophistication that many people don't have.
Yes.
And that will be changing little by little. More and more people will see the benefits of going digital, and it will change. However, if you're going to go to digital fiat, you're in the worst world possible. Yeah. Because even physical fiat, it's hard to print all these bills. It's hard to lug them around. But with digital, they just click a button and do 9 trillion assets for the Federal Reserve, Yeah. Most people save by buying a house, right? And they don't think twice, They want to have a house and they think that it's a good investment. They go to the bank, put some money down, and then pay off the loan. I think you should view your savings in Bitcoin kind of like that. Buy an amount, take out a loan, buy some Bitcoin.
If somebody they don't have Bitcoin, not yet. What would you advise? Would you say do it over a couple of months and always buy a little, or do a lump sum, or would now be the time?
Yes, in general. If I just looked at the technical charts, and I do a lot of technical analysis, I think there's a reasonable bottom around 30,000. But I might be wrong. It's much better to buy at 35 than at 65.
Yeah.
I would really be adding every month. Every month you buy some and buy more and buy more. And this is your savings, until you get to a good amount of savings that you consider reasonable for your financial position.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, people usually ask how much Bitcoin would you need, to actually.
It depends. What assets do you have? Let's say you had 100% of your assets deposited in banks. I would easily take 50% of that and put it into Bitcoin, of my bank deposits. Yeah. Why? Because banks deposits are just such a bad asset,
Yeah.
They're going down every year.
Yes, exactly.
Now, if you tell me you have a portfolio of stocks, Well, now stocks are very expensive. The last 10 years been zooming through the roof. And people make very good money with those stocks. When is a good time to get out? Probably now.
Buy Dogecoin or any other cryptocurrency.
I hate all those shit coins because what is the value proposition, you know?
Yeah.
There's no value proposition. The people who made them, they pre-mine them, they keep a huge chunk, and then they can inflate them. So the number one thing I would look at in terms of crypto is this supply immutable and fixed?
Yes.
And then maybe it has a chance.
Yeah,
like
this
for
means
example,
that it cannot be
CCAP.
inflated. So
Yes.
that's what's really important. Like it's a hard cap and
Exactly.
like
but
Bitcoin.
most of these cryptos don't have a hard cap. You
Yeah.
know? So how
And they're
can
more
you buy
not
that?
as decentralized enough, and that's why people can change all these facts.
So that takes us to the subject of DeFi, you know, decentralized finance.
Yes.
I mean, it sounds great, but if the governments are going to crack down on something, they'll be on DeFi number one. And number two, they'll do Bitcoin. But DeFi really is a threat to the financial system worldwide.
Yeah.
Because it's totally unregulated.
Yeah,
And, you know,
stablecoins,
these
for
priests, they
example.
love to be regulating everybody.
Yeah. Okay. What do you make of stablecoins? You know,
Stablecoins, you know, there you go. It's a
probably
digital
not an
form.
investment, right? People who should not invest in stablecoins because they're stable. So
You know, stablecoin is like the original fiat money, which was supposed to be a receipt for gold on deposit.
yeah.
No, the original banknote originated like that. I would take my gold to the bank, and the bank would give me a note. And I would then use the note, instead of trading my gold, just trade the note.
Yeah.
That's a stable coin.
Yes.
But what happened with these notes?
Yeah.
The banks found out that they could issue more
More of
notes
it.
than they had gold, right?
Yeah, that's also what people criticize about Tether. Maybe it's
And
exactly.
then how are we going to know if that stablecoin is really backed by something or not? I have no idea.
Yeah, exactly. Who are your references, you know, when it comes to crypto and Bitcoin? Where do you get your information from?
There's a lot of very interesting people in Twitter, for example, around Bitcoin. There's a big community of people like you and I that post opinions and daily facts and so I think that's a good way. But number one, I would do those two books, you know,
Yeah.
the Bitcoin Standard and the Fiat Standard.
Okay.
Those are for me the most educational texts that there are for somebody who doesn't know, and not only for people who do know, but the history of money and the history of fiat is amazing, and most people don't know that.
Yeah, exactly. I think
So
it's
I
a
would
good
stick
starter.
to those. Keeping yourself informed is important, but you have to be careful of the Bitcoin profits, you know? There's also lots of people who
Claim
have
they know what they're
unbounded
talking about.
optimism about Bitcoin, and that creates a false sense of security that nothing can go wrong.
Yeah.
Things can go wrong.
Can go wrong. I mean, that's a good point. We now talk pretty positively of Bitcoin. Maybe to finish up, what are the disadvantages of Bitcoin? You know, are there
Well,
any?
the number one
problems?
is you can get regulated,
Yeah.
and the government can try to expropriate you. They try, and they can try to impede you from converting your fiat into Bitcoin. They can try. It's not easy, but they can try. And then they can put punitive taxes on it. So then if you want to keep your money, you have to become a tax evader.